Hello everyone, welcome to the fresh videocast episode of Cozy Conversations. And in 2020, because of the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of us got a lot of time. And this time was utilized by some of us to explore within our passions. And when I say this, I do not mean to say that it is necessary for people to explore their passions during pandemic. Productivity is not important. You can deal with this pandemic the way it works for you. But some of us did choose to explore within our passions during this pandemic, and now we can see beautiful outcomes of that. One such beautiful outcome is the venture Nuts About Nuts, which is founded by Miss Priyanka Sharma. So let's welcome Ms. Priyanka Sharma to our episode so that she can share her journey about starting her entrepreneurial venture and turning her hobby into a venture of her own. So welcome to the episode, Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Mahi. Really excited to be here.
So tell us a little about Nuts About Nuts.
So I started Nuts About Nuts on 28th of May. So that date is really special for me. I was born in 28th September. And suddenly, like, a lot of the date resonates with a lot of my close friends and family. So I did not make that conscious decision, but I started on 28th of May, and then I started with the hopes to reach to people who love sweet treats but cannot afford to have them, in the sense ki it'll make them fat one, right? So because I am very conscious about my health and my body, so I wanted people like me to have sweet treats without any guilt. That's how I started, right? That's why, hence the name Nuts About Nuts. And then I slowly I realized ki people just, of course people are very health conscious and everything, but then they don't mind sugar. So and then I slowly started to introduce cookies and muffins with sugars and everything, and that started doing really well. So yeah, I'm here, and that's pretty much the journey of Nuts About Nuts.
So if you too are into bakery items, cookies, birthday cakes, then I guess you can surely contact Priyanka Di. I'll make sure that I'll leave the Instagram handle of Nuts About Nuts in the description box below, so that you guys can go and follow that page and also order your favorite treats whenever you want. So I think that Nuts About Nuts is a one-woman show, because when taking your appointment, it is very difficult for you to make time because of the fact that you're working single-handedly at Nuts About Nuts. So how does handling a one-woman show look like in real?
Well, it's very hectic, first thing. But having said that, I mean, of course, I prep everything the day before. I take the orders one day ahead of time, so I prep everything in the evening. I wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, and then I bake my treats, and then I deliver the same day. So it is a little bit hectic, but having said that, I have my mom who helps me. I have my sister who helps me with packaging and everything. So it is a one-woman show, but there are so many women involved that make Nuts About Nuts. So of course I bake and I prep and everything, but my mom helps me with packing, or let's say, she helps me with other things that I might not be able to take care of because I'm so busy. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of women involved, women and men. I mean, my family is really involved with what I do, and I get a lot of support. So yeah, it is a one-woman show, but with a lot of women in it.
I guess that's very important. Like in my videocast as well, people might think that I am the only one who is doing it, but that's not really the case. Like, I'm the face who's seen, like my audience sees my face, but there's a lot of people who go behind it. The first credit goes to my video editor, Rushal Tuladar. He edits the videos and does all of that. And the second credit goes to my sister-in-law, Dimple Agrawal, who captures the videos for me. And when she's taking care of the technicalities and when she's capturing the videos for me, it becomes so much easier for me. At least I don't have to worry like, how am I looking, is the video being captured properly or not. So I really realize, and I'm so grateful for these two people for making Cozy Conversations happen. So these are the team that I have in the back end, whom I would like to extend my gratitude towards in this episode. So yeah. And the other thing that I'd like to talk about is that, you had gone to Australia to complete your higher education. pursue a higher education, but due to some reasons you came back. So when you came back to Nepal, like what were the feelings like, and was having your own venture in your mind anywhere during that time?
Right. So I went to Australia in 2012. I finished my SLC, my um 10 from GEMS, and then I went to Australia. Not everyone can do that, but I had my uncle as my guardian who still is in Australia. So so he being my guardian, it was easier for me to go to Australia. So I did my high school in Australian International High School, and then while I was doing my bachelor's, people think that it's really easy or it's easy to earn money. Like the world outside Nepal is so glamorous. They go abroad, they have some selfies, photos, they go to a beach or a nightclub, and then people in Nepal think, oh, they're having such a beautiful life, they have everything, blah blah blah. But it's very, very wrong. It's honestly like not as fancy as it looks. So while I was doing my bachelor's, I was really involved with my work. So I was so like, instead of going to college, I'd go to work and like work 12 to 14 hours a day. So that was really affecting my studies. So I decided if I come back and then start fresh again, so do my bachelor's again, then maybe I could do something with my life, because like just working and not going to university was a very bad option. I wouldn't recommend anyone to do that. But I did that, and I came back to Nepal. I joined my bachelor's. I have my final exams left. This Pachi, I'll be done with my bachelor's, and then yeah. So I did go to Australia. I got a lot of whys, and why did you come back? You should have settled in Australia. You should have done your PR. I mean, gotten your PR, blah blah blah. But I think I made the right choice, because right after I came back to Nepal, I joined a consultancy, and I learned so many things from the office, and that helped me with whatever I am today. So yeah, it was a good journey, but then I am very happy that I'm back in Nepal.
I think that's very true. One very important learning that I take from your answer is that we often, we often judge the quality of someone's life by looking at their social media pictures. Whereas in social media pictures, you're just seeing a glimpse of their life,
Right, exactly.
not their overall life. Like in so many young people, I see that they are enticed to go to abroad just by looking at the pictures of their friends. You're just seeing a glimpse of that life. You don't know the realities, the ground realities of that life. So that is very important. Like judging people just looking at their social media pictures can be very wrong. And I think whatever happens, happens for the best. And I think you did take choices that allowed you come where you are. So even after coming back, you did not lose hope. You knew that, okay, the society is questioning me as to why did I come back, but it's my choice, and I'm going to make the best out of it. And because you did that, hopefully you're here now with Nuts About Nuts. So, like, how does it feel like to turn your hobby, like, because I believe that baking must have been your hobby, right? So, like, how does it feel like to turn your hobby into an entrepreneurial venture?
First thing, I knew nothing about baking when I first started, baking at home. I loved cooking, I still love cooking, but I never tried baking anything in my home. You lockdown, let's say, I saw a lot of YouTube videos, and then I tried making cookies in the oven, like the microwave oven. So I'm fortunate enough to have oven and the conventional oven and microwave oven. So I started making muffins in a cup. I still view Gemma's video on YouTube. So I started doing that, and then slowly I started making cookies in the actual oven. So and then I'd have my cousins over, my family over for lunch or for dinner, and then I'd give them my treats, and then they were like, oh my god, this is so good. And then like my uncle and aunt, they would tell me to, like, maybe Pinky, in the future after the lockdown's over and blah blah blah, maybe you could open a bakery. Sunny, you're really good at this and this and that. And then my sister, she really motivated me to open an online bakery, and she was like, see Nanu, if you do this, you can be a failure and you can be a success, but you don't have to have any investment up front, so if you want to do this, do it. If you do good enough. If you don't do good, you still have your job, you still can go back to your job and it's gonna be fine. So I just one fine day I just suddenly thought, okay, let's just do this, and then I started it. So yeah, baking, see, that's how I have been learning baking for the past 4 months, and 4 to 5 months, and then that's when I started Nuts About Nuts. So it was just like, Unzani, I want to do this, let's just do this. More than I want to earn money on the Haripani, I wanted to do this because it was my hobby. Unzani, and then I am doing this and it's doing really well, so thanks to God.
I think the other thanks should go to your sister.
For sure, yes.
And I think it's very important to motivate and encourage people around you, and also have a support system that motivates and encourages you. Like, that's very important, because I remember the way I started this podcast was very similar. So I was in my office one day and I was like shooting the video, and then one of my colleagues, Shrija Shrestha, she was like recording a podcast, and I was like, I'm so fascinated by the idea of podcasts. Even I want to start it, but I just don't know how, and I really want to do that in the future. And she was like, just do it. Like, you have every resource that you can. Like, you can host it, you can invite your guests if you want, you can talk about your stories if you want to. You'll just need a DSLR, or maybe not even that. Like right now we all have Zoom. So why don't you use that and then start it? And I think that was, she just said that, and it actually got into me that yes, I can do it, and I actually did it. So I'm very grateful to her that she actually showed me the path as to how could I begin my podcast. And that's very true. Like, you need to have a support system built around you that's very strong, that motivates and encourages you to follow your passions. And you should also be the one who encourages others to follow their passion. I think that's how we can continue the cycle. So maybe today we can take the oath that we go and encourage at least one person within this week to follow their passion. Like, let's just take that oath, right? So in your case, like, starting an entrepreneurial venture, as enticing as it sounds, it can also be very challenging. So in these 4 months, what are some challenges that you've faced when like running Nuts About Nuts?
Challenges, in terms of challenges, because it's only been about 4 months, I've been fortunate enough to not have a lot of challenges, but I would say, like, when I first started, I would prep, and then I would bake, and then I would go for delivery by myself with the help of my friends. So I was so busy that I would not have time for myself. So I'm lucky enough to not have any challenges until now. But if I do have some in the future, I hope I can be able to handle it, but not as of now.
The only challenge that you had was of time management.
Time management, yeah.
You got very limited time to yourself.
Exactly.
And I think with any decision that you take, you'll also face some struggles. It's just that what kind of struggles are you willing to allow in your life? Priyanka, what is one piece of advice that you'd like to give our audience? Because I think so many of us want to follow our passion, but we just don't know how can we do it. So because you have taken this courage to follow your passion and open your venture Nuts About Nuts, so what is one piece of advice that you'd like to give our audience who are watching us today?
I've had a lot of experiences in life. I repeated class 9, I failed, and I repeated grade 9. I went to Australia, did not finish my higher education. I came back to Nepal, and then there were so many questions around me regarding why I came back. You can have so many, I don't want to put it as a failure, but so many experiences, bad experiences that you learn from. And even with all of those experiences, I've always felt I'm special. So whether it was repeating grade 9, or whether it was coming back to Nepal without any idea of my future, I knew that I was special and I was meant for something big. Not saying Nuts About Nuts is big enough. I know I'll get there, but I want to tell my viewers, just know that you're very special. Follow your passion and be confident in what you are and what you want to become. I always say this to my sister. I tell her, if you like singing, my sister, she sings really well. So if you like singing, if you sing during your free time, make sure you make that your profession. Because if you like doing something when you're free, like let's say I would always bake. And even during lockdown, before I started Nuts About Nuts, I would bake, and then I would make like different dishes that I wouldn't know, and then I would learn from different videos. So if I liked baking, and if I do if I like baking, and if I, now that I've made it my profession, I'm always gonna like it because I love doing that. So yeah, just be careful to like do what you like and make that your profession. So that's all I wanna say to my viewers.
Yeah, I think that is very important. Like loving what you do and doing what you love. I think that is one of the key mottos to a happy life. And I hope my audience could learn a lot by watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you really like this video, and also please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be coming up with more such interesting videos in the future as well. And also, if you guys have some interesting people or some interesting topics in mind that I should talk about, please write that down in the comment section below.